his duty, and whoever voluntarily causes hurt to that public servant in order to deter that public servant or to prevent that public servant from doing that duty shall be punished with imprisonment by the description for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both. This is section 332. 333, similarly, voluntary causing or voluntary causing grievous hurt. Grievous hurt are there in section 320. Voluntarily causing grievous hurt to deter public servant from his duty. Similarly, whoever voluntarily causes grievous hurt to any person being a public servant in the discharge of duty as such public servant, duty as such or with intent to prevent or deter that person or any public servant from discharging his duty as a public servant, or in consequence of anything done or attempted done by that public servant the discharge of his duty. That is, whoever voluntarily causes grievous hurt as such public servant shall be punished with imprisonment by either direction for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall be liable to fine. 335, voluntarily causing grievous hurt on provocation. Like that, 334 and 335 we have previously discussed. When due to sudden provocation, grave and sudden provocation given by somebody voluntarily causes hurt to that person, that is punishable with imprisonment of 1 month or with fine, or which may extend to 500 rupees. Similarly, due to grave and sudden provocation by some person, if somebody voluntarily causes grievous hurt to that person, the person who has provoked shall be punished with imprisonment either direction for a term which may extend to 4 years or with fine, or which may extend to 2,000 rupees or with both. 336, act endangering life or personal safety of others. This is another thing. Whoever does an act so rashly or negligently, that is recklessly or negligently. What is negligent? Failure, that is duty to take care, failure of taking care. That is negligent act. Whoever does any act so rashly or negligently as to endanger human life or the personal safety of others, does any act endangering human life or the personal safety of others, shall be punished with imprisonment by the description of a term which may extend to 3 months or with fine which may extend to 250 rupees as with both. 337, this is causing hurt by act endangering life or personal safety of others. Probably in almost all accident cases, this section 337 is a charge. What is that? Whoever causes hurt to any person by doing any act so rashly or negligently, driving a vehicle rashly or negligently, by driving a vehicle rashly or negligently, if somebody causes injury to himself also or to any other person, then section 337 is attacked. What it provides? Whoever causes hurt is caused. That is causing bodily pain, disease or infirmity. That is infirmity. Whoever causes hurt to any person by doing any act so rashly or negligently as to endanger human life. These 3 ingredients. That is causing of hurt to any person due to rash or negligent act and endangering human life, or the personal safety of others, either endangering human life or personal safety of others, shall be punished with imprisonment or other description for a term which may extend to 6 months or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees or with both. 338, here whoever voluntarily causes, that is causing grievous hurt. Grievous act endangering life or personal safety of others. That is causing grievous hurt by act which is endanger to life or personal safety of others, thereby a grievous hurt is caused, that is punishable under section 330. When in accident there is a fracture of a bone, section 338 is applicable. Because of accidents, some fracture takes place or some grievous hurt is caused. So that is section 338 is attacked. What it says? Whoever causes grievous hurt to any person, grievous hurt is caused by doing any act rashly or negligently. Act is done either rashly or negligently, and by such act, grievous hurt is caused unto so as to endanger human life or personal safety of others, then shall be punished with imprisonment for either description for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine which may extend to 1,000 rupees. Now this section 339, sometimes you get that is a direct question. What is wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement? A wrongful restraint. Section 339 defines wrongful restraint. How wrong? What is wrongful restraint? Whoever voluntarily obstructs any person, voluntarily, whoever voluntarily obstructs any person so as to prevent that person from proceeding in any direction in which that person has a right to proceed. What are the ingredients of this offense? Voluntarily obstruction to any person, but from proceeding in any direction, in which that person has a right to proceed, is said wrongfully to restrain that person. What is wrongful restraint? Voluntary obstruction to a person. What person? To proceed in any direction. Proceed in a direction in which that person has a right to proceed. That person has a right to proceed is said wrongfully to restrain that. It is very important. Most of the time, question it is what is wrongful restraint, what is wrongful confinement. Voluntary obstructing a person to proceed in any direction in which that person has a right to proceed. That is called wrongful restraint. Suppose X is coming on the road. Somebody cut his hands and pulled him. Thereby, wrongful restraint takes place. Somebody, suppose, best example, is there somebody put a lock into the house, in house of another. Because in that direction he has a right to proceed. Thereby, wrongful restraint comes. What is that? Wrongful restraint. Exception, the obstruction of a private way over land or water, which a person in good faith believes himself to have a lawful right to obstruct, is not an offense within the meaning of this section. Suppose there is a private way. If somebody obstructs a public road, so that to prevent a person to pass through that road, that is wrongful restraint. But when there is an obstruction to a private road, believing in good faith that the said road belongs to somebody and he obstructs, that will not be treated as wrongful restraint. What it says? The obstruction of a private way over land or water, either over land or water. What is that? Obstruction of a private way, which a person in good faith believes himself to have the lawful right to obstruct. Who obstructs? The person who obstructs believes himself that he has a lawful right to obstruct. He obstructs a private road in good faith, believing that he has a right to obstruct that private road is not an offense within the meaning of this section. What is wrongful restraint? Whoever voluntarily obstructs any person and thereby prevents and person from proceeding in any direction in which that person has a right to proceed is said to cause wrongful restraint. Exception is that the obstruction of a private road, believing in good faith by a person that he has a right to obstruct, will not be treated as wrongful restraint. Now, wrongful confinement. Whoever wrongfully restrains any person in such a manner, wrongfully restrains any person in such a manner as to prevent that person from proceeding beyond certain circumscribing limits. Prevent that person from proceeding beyond certain circumscribing limit is said wrongfully to confine that person. Whoever wrongfully restrains, that is wrongfully restraint facts, that is obstruction a person by a person, wrong obstruction of a person to proceed in any direction in which he has a right to proceed, that is wrongful restraint. Whoever wrongfully restrains any person in such a manner that the wrongful restraint is in such a manner so as to prevent that person from proceeding beyond a circumscribing limit. Suppose somebody was that confined in a room, that will be treated as a wrongful confinement because he cannot proceed beyond a certain circumscribing limit. Somebody is on the roof, on the top of the roof of a terraced house. There is no other way, and there was a ladder. Through that ladder, he had climbed the roof of that house, and the ladder was removed. Thereby, that will be treated as wrongful confinement because he cannot proceed beyond a circumscribing. Somebody is confined in a house, and he was locked inside a house, inside a room. That will be treated as wrongful confinement. What is wrongful confinement? Whoever wrongfully restrains any person so as to prevent that person from proceeding beyond a certain circumscribing limit is said to wrongful confine that person. Illustration: E causes J to go within a wide space. There is a wide space. There is a space. To the four sides of that space, there are walls. Wall space. And locks Z in. And there are locks Z in. Z is thus preventing from proceeding in any direction beyond the circumscribed limit. Whatever space is there, within that space, that person may proceed. So Z is prevented to proceed beyond a certain circumscribed limit. That is line of wall. A wrongfully confines Z. A places men with firearms at the outlets of a building and tells Z that they will fire at Z if Z attempts to leave the building. Suppose Z is in the building, A placed the armed man and threatened if Z will come out, he will be shot. That will be fired. So A wrongfully confines Z. So now you should understand what is wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement. Whoever obstructs any person from proceeding in any direction in which he has a right to proceed is said to wrongful restraint. Whoever wrongfully restrains a person so as to prevent and obstruct that person from proceeding beyond a circumscribed limit, that is wrongful confinement. Wrongful restraint and wrongful. Whoever wrongfully restrains a person so as to prevent that person from proceeding beyond a circumscribed limit, that is called wrongful confinement. Now, 341, punishment for wrongful restraint. Whoever wrongfully restrains any person shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month. Only simple imprisonment for 1 month, or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees, or with. So, punishment for wrongful confinement. Whoever wrongfully confines any person shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 1 year, or with fine which may extend to 1,000 rupees, or with. 343, wrongful confinement for 3 or more days. That is aggravated form of wrongful confinement. Whoever wrongfully confines any person for 3 days or more shall be punished with imprisonment for either distance for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with fine, or with what. Wrongful confinement for 10 or more days, that is further more punishment. Whoever wrongfully confines any person for 10 days or more shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to fine. That is wrongful, that is confining a person for 10 days and more. For that is 10 days. For 3 or more days, that is when you say which may extend to 2 years, wrongful confine a person, what is? For 10 days or more days, that is punishable 3 years. 345, wrongful confinement of person for whose liberation writ has been issued. Already in a writ of that is habeas corpus, writ has been issued. Thereafter, if somebody is wrongful confined, that is punishment is more. Whoever keeps any person a wrongful confinement, knowing that a writ for the liberation of that person has been duly issued. If a person knowing that a writ has been issued for liberation of a person who has been kept in wrongful confinement, and after that he was wrongful confined, then shall be punished with imprisonment of either description or for a term which may extend to 2 years. In addition to any term of imprisonment to which he may be liable under any other section of this chapter. Wrongful confinement in secret, this is 346. Whoever wrongfully confines any person in such a manner, wrongful confinement in secret, whoever wrongfully confines a person in such a manner as to indicate an intention, he was wrongfully confined in such a manner which shows an intention that the confinement of such person may not be known to any person interested in the person so confined. That is wrongfully confined in such a place, in such a manner that the confinement of such person may not be known to any person interested in the person who confined or to any public. Such a confinement may not be known to public servant, or that the place of such confinement may not be known to or discovered by any such person. The confinement place is such a place that he has been confined in such a manner that the place of such confinement may not be known or discovered by any such person or public servant, as herein before mentioned, shall be punished with imprisonment either destined for a term which may extend to 2 years, in addition to any other punishment in which he may be liable for such wrongful. That is, for if he is confined for 10 days and more, the punishment is more. Other punishment is also attracted. 347, wrongful confinement to extort property or constrain to illegal acts. What? Whoever wrongfully confines any person for the purpose of extorting from any person confined. What is? Wrongfully confines any person for the purpose of extorting from any person confined. That means the person who has been confined, from that person, so for the purpose of extorting, or from any person interested in the person confined. Extorting either from the person who has been confined or from any person who is interested in the confinement of that person, any property or valuable security. To extort valuable security or property, or of constraining the person confined or any other interested in some person to do anything illegal. Constraining means compelling. So that will be compelled. Constraining the person who has been confined or any other person interested in such person to do anything illegal or to give any information or to do any illegal act or to give any information which may facilitate the commission of an offense. Whoever wrongfully confines any person, what is? Either the person for the purpose of extorting any property from that confined person, or from any person who is interested in the person, interested in the person of the property who has been confined, for the purpose of what? To do any illegal act or to give any information which may facilitate the commission of the offense, then shall be punished with imprisonment either direction for a term which may extend to 3 years. Wrongful confinement to extort confession or compel restoration of property. This is also applicable where a person is wrongfully confined by a public servant for extorting confession or compel restoration of property. Whoever wrongfully confines any person for the purpose of extorting from the person confined or any person interested in the person confined, for the purpose of extorting from the person who has been confined or from any person who is interested in the confinement of any confession or any information. To extort any confession or any information which may lead to the detection of an offense, either for extorting confession or any information which may lead to detection of an offense or misconduct, or for the purpose of constraining the person confined or any person interested in the person confined to restore or cause to restoration of any property. Whoever that is wrongfully confines a person, what is for the purpose of why? That is constraining, that for the purpose of constraining the person confined or any person interested in such person confined to restore or to cause the restoration of any property or valuable security, or to satisfy any claim or demand, or to give information which may lead to the restoration of any property or valuable security, shall be punished with imprisonment or either restraint for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. This is section 346. 347, that is wrongful, that is 348, wrongful confinement to extort. This is section 340. Section 349 is very important provision. What it provides is, that is force. What is force? A person is said to use force to another if he causes motion, change of motion, or cessation of motion to that other. A person is said to use force to another when he causes motion. Motion means movement. When he causes motion or change of motion, or cessation of motion to that other, or if he causes to any substance such motion, or any substance causes any substance such motion, or change of motion, or cessation of motion, as brings that substance into contact with any part of the other's body. Causes motion, change of motion, or cessation of motion to any substance, which substance into contact with any part of the other's body. That substance is in contact with any part of the human's body, and thereby a person causes motion to that substance, or change of motion to that substance, or that is cessation of motion up to that substance, any part of them, or with anything which that other is wearing, or any person who is wearing by holding that wearing apparel, or carrying, or anything which is carrying by causing motion to that carrying material, or cessation of motion to that carrying material, or change of motion, or with anything as situated that such contact affects the other's sense of feeling, or with anything causes motion or cessation of motion, change of motion, with anything so situated that such contact affects that other's sense of feeling, that will be treated as force. Force, what is force? Force means when a person is said to cause force to another, when a person is said to cause force to another, if he causes motion, change of motion, or cessation of motion to that other, which force to another means to that person, or if he causes to any substance such motion, or change of motion, or cessation of motion, any substance which that person, with that substance, any substance which was in contact with any part of the body of that person, and he causes any motion to that substance, change of motion to that substance, cessation of motion to that substance, or with anything which that other is wearing. That is, when a person causes motion, cessation of motion to anything which that person is wearing or carrying, or with anything so situated that the contact affects that other's sense of feeling or anything which is so situated, and if that by causing motion or cessation of change of motion, that will affect that such contact affect the other sense of feeling. So that will be treated as force, provided that the person causing the motion or change of motion or cessation of motion causes that motion, change of motion or cessation of motion in one of the three ways. In one of the three ways that motion will be caused, change of motion will cause, cessation of motion by his own bodily power. That means causing motion, change of motion, cessation of motion by one's bodily power, or by disposing any substance in such a manner that the motion or change or cessation of motion takes place without any further act on his part or on the part of any other person. That means suppose somebody was there, somebody used his ferocious gun, that is dog, and that barked. Thereby another person moved. So that will also be treated as use of force. Why? Because by disposing any substance in such a manner that this substance, any substance was disposed, even anything was disposed in such a manner that the motion or change or cessation of motion takes place without any further act on his part or on the part of any other person. Either for the suppose there was a boat was there, it was Ranga. That is, if you see the illustration, that will make it clear. Suppose by disposing any substance, it disposed any substance in such a manner that is illustration. Z is sitting on a moored boat on a river. That is a moored boat. A unfastens the mooring and thus intentionally causes the boat to drift down the stream. Here A intentionally causes motion to J and he does this by disposing substance in such a manner that the motion is produced without any other action on any person's part. That will be treated as use of force. Thirdly, by inducing any animal to move, to change in motion, or to cause to move. Suppose X cow is there. Somebody showed a food or a bait or a grass, a bundle of grass to the cow, and the cow moved and went with it, that man. That will also be treated as use of motion. That is force. That is force. Force is used here. What is? That may be treated as criminal force. So force and criminal force, you must understand. What is force? Force means whoever causes motion, change of motion, or cessation of motion to another, or to any substance, he causes motion, change of motion, or cessation of motion, so as to bring that substance into contact with any part of others. So that substance will come in contact with any parts of others. That will be treated as use of force. That will be force. That is force. Or with anything which that person is wearing. Suppose a person is wearing a sari or wearing a shirt. Somebody pulled that shirt. that will also be treated as use of force. Or carrying, or with anything so situated that such contact affects the other sense of feeling. Somebody pulled somebody's sari, that affects the feeling of that woman. Provided the person, then the force, this is force, provided that force must be used in three ways. That the person causing the motion or change of motion, cessation of motion, causes that motion, changes that motion, or cessation of motion in any of the three ways hereinafter described. Unless in any of the three ways this change motion is caused, or change of motion is caused, or cessation motion is, that will not be treated as force. Firstly, by the own bodily power, only by somebody's own bodily power, he causes motion, change of motion, cessation motion, or by disposing any substance, he disposed any substance in such a manner that the motion or change or cessation of motion takes place. Disposes any substance in such a manner, substance is disposed in such a manner that the motion or change or cessation of motion takes place without any further act on his part. That is, illustration will say, suppose there was a boat which was moved. Moved means what? That boat was there, moved. That is, there was a lumber that is moved. It is moved. Somebody unfastened the mooring of that boat. So the boat automatically, intentionally caused the boat to drift down the stream. Here, A intentionally causes. Simply remove the intentionally unfastened the mooring. These moorings. Thereby, the boat passed to the downside of the river. In the that is water which was flowing to the downside. So that will be treated as, that is use of force, by disposing any substance in such a manner that the motion or change or cessation of motion takes place without any further act on his part or on the part of any other person. Simply unfastening the mooring, that will drift that is about to drift to the downstream. So that will be treated as use of force. Thirdly, by inducing any animal to move. Somebody showed a bait to an animal, there where the animal moved. That is, inducing any animal to move, to change its motion, either move, to change its motion, or to cause to move. That will be treated as force. What is criminal force? What is criminal force? Whoever intentionally uses force to any person, whoever intentionally uses force to any person, without that person consent, in order to committing of any offense, or intending by the use of such force to cause or knowing it to be likely that by the use of such force he will cause an injury, fear, or annoyance to the person to whom the force is used, is said to use criminal force to others. What is criminal force? Force first you understood. Causes motion, change of motion, cessation of motion to any person or any substance. With any substance, motion is caused, change of motion is caused to that substance or cessation of motion. So that such substance which came in contact with any part of the body of another, or with anything, causes motion to anything, cessation of motion, change of motion to anything, which that other person is wearing or carrying, or with anything so situated that such contact affects that other sense of feeling. That will be treated as force, but such force must be in any of the three ways, either by own bodily power, or by disposing any substance in such a manner that the intention or change or cessation, motion or change or cessation of motion will take place without any further intervention. Thirdly, by inducing any animal to move or to change to its motion or to cause to move. That will be treated as force. So criminal force is there whoever intentionally uses force to any person without that person's consent. Intentionally using force to that any person without that person's consent in order to be committing an offense. Intentionally using force to any person without that person's consent in order to commit an offense, or intending by use of such force to cause, or knowing it to be likely that by use of such force he will cause injury, intending or with intention, or intending by use of such force, intending that by use of such force to cause, or knowing it to be likely that by the use of such force he will cause, intentional cause, or knowing that by use of such force he will cause any injury, fear, or annoyance to the person to whom the force is used, is said to use criminal force. There are 8 illustrations. What? Jed is sitting in a boat on a river. On a river, there was a boat which had been moved. That is made longer. This A unfastens the mooring, and that intentionally causes the boat to drift down the stream. Here A intentionally causes motion to Z. Z is sitting on a boat, removing unfastening this mooring, and thereby only the boat drifted. That will not be treated as criminal force. But somebody Z was on the river, on that boat. Z was sitting. Was sitting in a moved boat. So he unfastened the boat, and he does this by disposing substance in such a manner that the motion is produced without any further action. Due to flow of the water, motion was produced on any person's part. He has therefore intentionally used force to Z, and if he has done so without Z's consent, if Z's consent was not there, in order to the committing of any offense, or intentionally or knowingly likely to that this use of force will cause injury, fear, and annoyance. Intentionally causes that unfastened with intention that will cause injury, fear, and annoyance to J. He has committed criminal offense. He has used criminal force. A is riding in a chariot. A lasses Z's horse. That horse was fitted to the chariot. He lashed that horse, and thereby causes them to quick the peg. The horses quick the peg. Here A has caused change of motion to J by inducing the animal to change that motion. By inducing. A has therefore used force to J, and if he has done this without J's consent, intending or knowing it to be likely that he may thereby injure, frighten, and a J, he has used criminal force. See, Z is riding in a palanquin. A intending to rob J sees the pole and stops the palanquin. Here A has caused cessation of motion. Cessation of motion takes place to J, and he has done this by his own bodily power. He has therefore used force to J, and as A has acted thus intentionally, without J's consent in order to the commission of offense, A has used force. A intentionally pushes against J in the street. Here A has, by his own bodily power, moved his own person so as to bring it into contact with J. Here he has therefore intentionally used force to J, and if he has done so that without J's consent, intending or knowing it to be likely that he may thereby injure, frighten, or annoy J, he has used criminal force. The other illustration, A throws a stone, intending or knowing it to be likely that the stone will be thus brought into contact with J. A threw a stone, intending that that stone will come in contact with J, or with J's clothes, or with something carried by J, or that it will strike water. That A threw a stone so that the stone will strike water and dash off the water against Z's clothes or something carried by Z. Here, if the throwing of the stone produces the effect of causing any substance to come into contact with J or Z's clothes, or he has used force to J, and if he did so without Z's consent, intending thereby to injure, frighten, or annoy Z, he has used criminal force. If A intentionally pulls up a woman's veil, it is very important. Because you go through this illustration, sometimes you get a problem. A intentionally pulls up a woman's veil. Here, A intentionally uses force to her. And if it does so, without her consent, intending or knowing it to be likely that he may thereby injure, frighten, or annoy. Intentional pulling somebody's veil without that person consent to annoy her. He has used criminal force to her. Z is batting. Sometimes this problem comes this illustration. Z is batting. He pours into the bath water which he knows to be boiling. Water which knows is boiling water. Here A intentionally by his own bodily power causes such motion in the boiling water as brings that water into contact with J or with other water so situated that such contact must affect J's sense of feeling. A has therefore intentionally used force to J, and if he has done this without J's consent, intending or knowing it to be likely that he may thereby cause injury, fear, or annoyance to J, he has used criminal force. A incites a dog to spring upon J. This illustration sometimes is put as a problem in a question. A incites a dog to spring upon J without J consent. Here, if A intends to cause injury, fear, or annoyance to J, he uses criminal force. Let us conclude. In the next class, we will discuss the other. Thank you.